All right. So we have our nice little, group stage is completed. Round of 16 is finished. And Barcast, Volshok, and I are with me, and we're going to go over the groups, the results from groups, some of the fun stats, because we know Volshok is now the stat guy. Volshok, enjoy your new title. Um, and we're going to go and look at some of what's been going on in the last weekend. I know if we go and look, this was the qualifiers, which we did stream on the main stream. We saw, a lot of players showed up. A lot of players had some pretty fun games. All things considered, almost everybody, got at least a couple wins under their belt. Aiden, rest in peace. I'm so sorry. But
The
I
call out unnecessary.
no, no,
Yeah.
totally necessary. I'm sorry. I'm
Uh,
so sorry. But if we look, and you look at like, okay, these are the players that went forward. You can tell by like the little medal next to their name. Uh, it kind of makes sense. These are players that have been pretty consistent. Like Volshok, Barcast. Are there any surprises for you guys for the qualifiers this time around?
the I would say the big surprise for me, just because I'm not super familiar with them, was Yoon. Um, I thought it was someone's alt the first time I saw it because they beat Teddy in
Oh
qualifiers and they
yeah.
beat someone else in qualifiers. And I was like, whoa, who is that? So they were, yeah, for me, I think that's one. The other kind of surprise for me was that Thurksy didn't make it out of qualifiers. He's been in so many BPLs and the highest he's ever placed is I think eighth, like in that eighth range, fifth to eighth. But I was surprised he didn't make it through. Barcast, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, kind of tying into that, it was pretty competitive towards like the bottom end of the like. There was like a lot of players with similar scores, right? So yeah, Third was it like Lapotka, all had like very similar scores. So it's like not everyone can advance. Like mirrored for that matter too. Went 7 and 6 looks like. So kind of a surprise, but no shortage of good players advancing. So
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so, if you guys aren't familiar with the BPL format, what happens is the top eight from the previous season are automatically seeded into the round of 16. So the players next to medals, or the players with medals next to their name, like LDM said, join the remaining players for the round of 16,
So
and they play in groups.
if we want, if like we could see kind of, okay, these are the players that made it to the round of 16. Uh, and a lot of names we recognize, a lot of pretty well-known 1v1ers. And honestly, if you look at the players that you might notice, some of them have different colored names, and we'll go into that in a moment. As here's some scores. Shockingly, maybe should have said if you haven't watched the games, you should leave now. But close your eyes, pretend you didn't see what you just saw. Flashbang spoilers. There's been some crazy games. I know a lot. I've seen a few other people have casted. I know Volshok and I have done a few. I It's been a pretty fun round of 16. Um, Vol-
Yeah, for sure. Definitely some upsets as well. I think if we go group by group, we can talk through some of
let's start
them.
at
There were
A.
some that, yeah, as I said, we started A,
Yeah.
we work our way through. If you guys didn't watch season 6, Blow Deer, who made it out of this group, is the defending champion. And let's just say in season 6, he didn't lose a game.
Yeah.
So, so it's a little expected for him to go through. But I think Barcast, after Blow Deer, it was kind of a mix-up, right? I think Yoon, C3BO, or Flying Duck potentially could have taken any of them. Did you have a favorite before they played it out and before Flying Duck was able to clinch it?
yeah, you're absolutely right. I think all three of these players could have made it out of the group. Once the Una was eliminated, it was just C3BO and Flying Duck left playing for that last spot, and that was a super close series. I think it went 2-1. So kind of some clanmate on clanmate violence going on. But congrats to Blow Deer and Flying Duck making it out of the group.
Yeah, those are always at least for me, those are the most enjoyable games to watch because it's like the clanmates who've played whatever 500 games against each other. They know each other's tendencies. So then you end up in these really weird games where like both players are trying to do what they normally do to throw the other player off, and so it's just chaos. But yeah, I'm excited. LDM Group B, what do we think?
I mean, this was a bit of a bloodbath. It looks like I know looking into this, I would have kind of assumed, okay, Randy's going to go through. This man was our second place finalist of season 6. Uh, Looked very impressive for most of the tournament. I know Barkas, this group is a little more personal to you, I think, than to Volshok and I. But uh, did
Oh
you
yeah.
did you have any fun games? Any roughs? Any like pretty rough sets, or what was your
Though,
impressions?
yeah, I mean, it's a tough group to get out of. Like Andy, of course, very hard to play against. That one, honestly, I would say I was more disappointed losing to Andy than Slick.
Oh
So
well.
yeah, just it is what it is. Congrats to like both players. I mean, they're playing really. Both of them are playing really well and definitely well earned. So looking forward to see them play in the round of 8.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
was really hoping Modulo would go deeper. He's such a
Yeah.
perennial in the BPL scene. But he almost always finishes 9 to 16. He rarely makes it out of group. So I think that could be said for you as well, Barcast. I was seriously rooting for you to go deeper, but on the flip side, we do get you to cast.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
Yeah, for
exciting.
sure. I know I
yeah.
want
It's
to
like
say like Slick has really impressed me, right? He's pretty new to the 1v1 scene and he's just kind of showing up and I know he's been playing a lot with like Auto and Sash and he's looking real good. I'm looking to forward to see how far he makes it. Well,
yeah, certainly like individual skill makes a big difference, but having such a deep team behind you to practice with and learn from
yeah.
definitely helps like improve like quickly, right? So
Oh yeah, he's a TM player, isn't he? I
Yep.
forgot about that.
He's looking real good, real solid.
And then we had the group of
The
death.
actual group of death with 3 former BPL winners in one group, which is just still ridiculous. I mean, I there was some surprises for me in this one. I think most of us did not expect Teddy to go down and get 2-1 by Domino. I mean, no, Domino's improved quite a bit, but it's Teddy, you know? Just a big surprise. Oh, what about you,
I,
Volshok? What are you thinking?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like anyone could have taken this
Yeah.
group and I wouldn't have been surprised. X Factor, obviously the favorite because he's a previous winner. He's done really well. He's beaten Autopilot before in season 5. That was the grand finals, Auto versus X
Yep.
Factor, but Auto also beat him in Alpha Cup. So I feel like either of those two players were kind of, I was like, yeah, I think either of them could win it. But I've bet against Teddy so many times and always lost that I'm just like, you know what? I'm never going to count him out like you.
Yep.
But I think the thing is just everyone in this group has, aside from Teddy, has played so many games this season.
Yeah.
Teddy's played like 100 games of 1v1 this season compared to, I think the max is C3PO at like 1500. So just that recent meta new map thing might be throwing him off. I was definitely shocked at Domino, but Barcast, correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, Domino was kind of taken under X Factor's wing, right? As sort of like the heir apparent in a sense.
yeah, definitely like a protege, if you will. So
And
of X Factor.
yeah, and I mean, Domino's improved a lot, I think, and we're gonna have to see how far he can make it. Well, in like future BPLs, as I think he's really only getting better. I know Otto and X Factor are the ones that are going to go through in this group, which does kind of make sense, as both of them, like you said, are pretty active and are very strong players. Uh, not the biggest surprise, all things considered, for the group of death. Well, if we go back to our final group, you can tell already, just by the scores, that something here is slightly different. This was an actual bloodbath. These games were all over the place. There was, I think, like one or two 2-0s. Everything else was just 2-1s in either direction.
Yeah, I mean, there was the single 2-0. That was it,
Single
right?
2-0.
The
Yeah,
Vetter versus
that's true.
Raxel. And that was actually a relatively competitive set as well. But no, I loved it. Vetter for me is like he's so enjoyable to watch because his games are like they're just absolute chaos. The weirdest things will happen in them. For me, which I was really excited about, a little qualifier lore. So Vetter knocked Mirrored out, and Mirrored is in Clan APM, same as Raxel. Mirrored after his defeat, where there were some rough but exciting games. He's like, all right, I'm done. I'm retiring from bar. I don't want to deal with this anymore. So I was actually kind of excited that Raxel was able to take revenge and knock Vetter out and make it to the round of 6 to represent APM in it. Barkas, did you think Akumar would go deeper? I kind of felt like he's a really strong player. I thought he would. I thought Sash was going to make it out for sure for me, but I felt like Akumar was kind of a close second. But he just kind of wasn't able to pull through. It
Yeah,
seems like.
I think it's kind of similar to what we had in Group A, where it's like there's like a clear favorite to advance, but then between the other
Yeah.
3 players, it's very very even and competitive. So maybe a bit unlucky, just maybe like just having like to play Sash first, so you're instantly in that losers round. But from what I understand, Akamar gets a little bit tilted too. So like maybe like he's in the losers bracket and then like loses the first game, and it kind of just like snowballs from there. So just maybe with some more tournaments under his belt, he might be able to improve on that and advance. Because like you're saying, he is a very strong player, of course, and it is a bit surprising like we don't see him advance. But yeah,
I mean, all things
Did you know
considered, right?
that?
It's a hard group. It kind of makes sense. Like you're saying, like it really could just go any way.
Yeah, well, one thing I will say of Akamar that I just found hilarious in looking at stats, he is the only player to pick arm and win on Eye of Horus. And there were like 19 games on it.
That is a depressing statistic, but also well done, Akumar. All right, that is
That's
something nobody else has done.
I will say I did enjoy watching Group D. It definitely
Yep,
lived up to the Raptor
it's fun.
petting zoo moniker because it was a bloodbath.
It was. It
yeah,
definitely was.
it was the funnest group to watch, I'd say by far. So I'd say go check out those replays if you haven't seen them.
Well, if we go
And
and look, we're swapping over to our bracket. These are our 8 finalists for the finalists. Yeah, sure, I guess the 8 finalists. They're going to the main event in the next weekend. Kind of makes sense looking at this. It's kind of funny to me seeing Otto and Sash going against each other, as those two have played against and with each other for a very long time now. Uh, Man, you guys want to do some predictions and see who see if we can figure out who will win which
so
one.
I would say there's clear favorites in everything except for Autopilot Sash, right? Because
Yeah,
like Blow Deer has just looked terrifying. He closes games out so early. He is just he is just vicious in a lot of those games. And Vic has looked good, but I'm definitely a little concerned. I feel like Blow Deer is favored in that, right, Barcast? Do you agree?
Yeah, certainly.
yeah, it's kind of hard to bet against the king in the north himself.
That's right.
As well, Slick is looking really good. Blowdeer is just Blowdeer, and I mean, what more do you need to say?
Yeah, the reason for those of you who aren't aware, the reason why this series is called The King in the North is because Blow Deer is Finnish and he is the reigning champion.
Yep.
And then Raxel versus X Factor. X Factor has placed third, fourth, second, and won a BPL. So he has a deep tournament kind of background, very, very strong player, incredible late game skill. Raxel, however, is a player that has a super high early win rate. So I think the upset, if there was an upset there, it would be where Raxel is able to somehow pressure and sort of wear X Factor down early. But are there really any maps that would limit X Factor's macro? Maybe into battle? I don't think so. What?
Yeah,
Barcast,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. Well, and considering they're playing a best of 5 as well, so you're kind of limited on like what maps you can actually get rid of on the pool. So like there are 2 clear like big macro maps like High Noon and Arksum Cats. So Raxo's only going to be able to ban one of those, I'd say. So that means like at least X Factor would take like I guess like a free win if you want to call it that on one of those big macro maps. But I mean I can see it going either way on some of the smaller ones because Raxel is an arm enjoyer. So I mean, things can get pretty dicey with pawns if they like, one slips through, and things can kind of spiral out of control pretty quickly from there.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
we have seen Raxel looks really strong, and like you said, in this early game, like in the first like 5-10 minutes, not even first like 10 minutes, the man looks very hard to deal with, very high APM, he's just all over the map.
Mhm.
He's harassing you. He looks very strong in that port. And X Factor's no slouch himself, but I mean, I have to still kind of bet on X Factor. It's hard to bet against him in that matchup. I'm assuming Volshok Barcast. Do we have any disagreements? We all thinking X Factor's
Yeah,
going
I'd
through.
probably say like 3-1 X
Oh,
Factor.
nice.
You know.
Volshok, what are you thinking?
I think, yeah, I think I'm with Barkas. I think 3-1 X as well. But I mean, we'll say anything can happen.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, the next one, Flying Duck and versus Randy, or Andy, depending on who you are. And I mean, Flying Duck, he's good. To make it here, you have to be good. But you're going up against one of the most, well-established 1v1ers I think that Bar has. Oh man.
I think it's really hard to root or to bet against Andy unless he's in the grand finals, right? Because that man is just a perennial like silver miner. But before he gets into the grand finals, he just stomps people. And he was second place last BPL, right?
He
At Trophy?
was, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
We got the Randy of the Lake
So
was made an appearance during that finals. One of the more entertaining BPL finals I think I've seen. Even if Randy did say he was a little disappointed with the outcome, it was still very fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a great series. Like for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
I haven't watched that many Flying Duck games. What do you think he can maybe do to throw Randy off his game here? How do you think Flying Duck can try to take this Barcast?
That's gonna be tough because like with a lot of these APM players, like I guess like to their clan's name, they seem pretty like favoring arm, favoring that like harassment style, like really aggressive early game. But if it does go long, I'd say like Andy's got tons and tons of experience in those matches, and Andy's like can be an unpredictable player to play against. So I don't know. It's just gonna be tough all around. I'm not sure what he can do past like just getting an advantage in like the banning and picking stages.
Yeah, definitely gonna be a hard one. What do you guys think, Barcast prediction wise? You think Flying Duck's got a game in him, or
I'd say like 3-0.
we're thinking 3-0? Man,
Sorry.
that's brutal.
I
Full
I
shot.
think Flying Duck has a game in him. I think that the whole APM crew is going to rally behind their boys and they're going to get tons of practice. And
Oh,
I think
okay.
I think there could be some cooking. I'm hoping there's at least one build. So I'm going to say 3-1 Andy for this.
I also kind of feel like 3-1 is what I'm leaning towards, only because Randy did say, this is a little bit more of a relaxed one for him. He doesn't have a lot of time to play. It's a bit more of a relaxed BPL, so I definitely could see Flying Duck take a game off him. But Otto and Sash, this is the hard one. Man, both these players are so good. I mean, Sash, he hasn't made it as far as Otto in these tournaments, but I think he could. I think he very easily could. Volshok, what are you thinking?
I do not have a favorite in this. I think it's a complete coin toss. I mean, both these players, Otto has I would say Otto has had higher peaks, but Sash is one of the most consistent players in terms of like tournament records. It's insane. Like basically since BPL 3, he has always been third or fourth place, right? Like it's like season 3, third, fourth, season 4, third, fourth, season 5, third, fourth, season 6, third, fourth. Like
Yeah, it's kind of
he
crazy.
is super, super consistent. And Otto, he got second in season 5, and he also got he won an Alpha Cup. So I think that Otto has had higher peaks, but I think it's really, really hard to root again or to bet against the consistency of Sash.
I mean, that's pretty fair. Barcast, what are you thinking?
Um, I wouldn't say like I mean I'm just a big autopilot fan, so maybe I'm a little biased here, but I think it's definitely going to be more difficult for Sash to win this series than it would be autopilot. So I'd say I'd like lean towards autopilot taking it. Maybe it's like ends up being like 3-2. Like hopefully we get a 3-2 series.
That'd be
That'd
fun.
actually be insane. But yeah, it think it's like Sash is punching up here, so to speak.
Yeah, I kind of think. Volshok, what are you thinking? 3-2. You thinking as well? Pretty even set.
I think 3-2, but I'm going to go with Sash. My gut is
Oh,
saying Sash. I
okay.
think, I don't know. I mean, you're right. Like, I think it's super hard to bet against either of them. Like, they're both really strong players. For whatever reason, I'm feeling Sash for it, though. 3-2 Sash.
I am also kind of thinking 3-2 auto with Barkas, but I think if there is a BPL where Sash could go the distance, it's probably this one. He's looking real strong. I think he could do it. Uh, but yeah.
All right. So, follow up question: who do you guys think takes it all?
Hmm.
Ooh, that's a hard one. Look, for me, it's between Bloatier or X Factor. I think maybe Auto with like a follow up. I Auto. Oh man, that's between those three. It's really difficult. Barcast, you got any predictions?
Uh, Bloodier's looking very strong right now. I'd say but it's honestly pretty tough. X Factor, I think, definitely wants to win, so I'd imagine he's going to be putting in a little bit more work than some of the other players, like preparing builds and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say X Factor takes this one down.
What about you, Volshok? You threw the gauntlet down. What are you thinking?
Okay, so I think that because it's BO7 and fewer maps are banned and there are more macro maps, I kind of feel like X Factor takes it too. I think Blow Deer is just ungodly in, the first whatever 20 minutes. But I think that if X Factor weathers the storm, kind of similar to what I was saying for Rexel, like late game X Factor, he's just played so much FFA that he just knows how to scale, right? Like I think he can do it, but I think it's going to be close. I hope it's going to be super close. So I think it'll be like I'm hoping 4-3 X Factor Below Deer.
Oh, you're thinking.
Or
Okay.
They
Wow.
Yeah, they play in the semifinals though, so
oh wait, I'm dumb. Then Sash Auto. Yeah, you're right.
This is
We
hard,
won't be
right?
able to.
Like, because Bloater and X Factor, like the semifinal game between them, if should they actually beat their two opponents, uh, would I think is gonna be it's gonna be fun. It's a shame it's not gonna be best of seven, right? Because I think you said only the grand finals is best of seven.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
so
it's a shame.
yeah, maybe then because he can ban out because BO5 he gets two, he get two bans. We could take out Arch Sim.
I
You could
I don't
take out.
I don't think Bloater's bad in a macro game though. Like he also has played a lot of free for all, right? He's also been a one of the gods of free for all. Uh, and
Fair.
he's a faff god, you know. He's no slouch
Yeah,
when it
yeah.
comes to these macro games. I it's so hard to pick between them both.
My one counterpoint to that is that he definitely has like X Factor's win rate with game duration just is like
Yes.
flatlined, like 86%. Blow Deer's does drop as the game progresses. So I feel like, I mean, it's, let's be real. Blow Deer is an incredible player, but I still think that X Factor is favored in some of those later games because he's played FFA and he's played a lot of team games too, right? So he's just super familiar with a lot of kind of like those later game interactions. But I don't know. I'm still sticking with X
Think
Factor.
of an
I'm
X
saying
Factor.
X Factor takes it all. I actually kind of want an X Factor Sash Corin Grand Finals grudge match. That's the
Oh
dream for
man.
me. 4-3, and I don't even care who wins.
Another grudge match? Look, I heard we already did that. You know, I don't. Should we're really gonna do another one? But maybe it could. I'm kind of thinking we're gonna get a grand finals for me between. I think it's gonna be Bloater Auto. I think personally. Oh man, it's actually so hard. X Factor is so good. It's actually so hard. It's either gonna be Bloater Auto or X Factor Auto for me, and I think Bloater goes the distance. It's hard to bet against him. He's looking too good, too clean.
Honestly, I think the semifinals look a little bit more entertaining, perhaps, as far
Yeah.
as like the struggle between. I could see this here, both those series going 3-2, whether it's like Bloodier, X Factor, Andy Autopilot, something like that. Those are going to be great series as well. So I think it's just going to get better and better, like the deeper the tournament runs. So
For
which is
sure.
exciting.
Well, anything
Yeah.
else, Volshok, about the brackets? Or are we thinking we want to go look at some fun stats? We want to break out the stats?
Yeah, I mean we can. I'm happy to do it. I think we're good on brackets. We can check out some maps, look at the situation.
So if we look, these are the maps that were picked in the qualifiers. Some of you in the BPL Discord probably have already seen some of these pictures, and you can see that maybe there's some interesting trends here. Some rough trends. Eye of Horus says hello with the 3 arm picks, 0 wins, with the 23 core picks and 13 wins. That is just brutal. I don't know.
It,
What are you
yeah,
gonna do
it's
about
rough.
that?
Barcast, talk to me about just the sheer core dominance in BPL. What's going on here? Why is
Uh,
core so unbelievably strong in duels?
I think it's just righteousness. It's like, core enjoyers are just smarter,
That's a good
better
answer.
looking. Just
Like that a lot.
I don't know what to say.
Smarter and better looking.
Yep.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. All right. Yeah. So
Stats
in
don't lie.
qualifiers, most picked.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Most picked map was Canis River, and then the least picked was Red Comet.
Poor Red
Why
Comet.
do you? Yeah, so CSCR was definitely picked a bit. Red Comet. The weird thing to me is that there was a lot of arm play on it. What? Why? Do either of you know?
Yeah. So I think that can be explained by like the different spawning position choices. There's like a really tidy kind of slightly forward 2 mech spawn you can pick on that map, which I would say
LDM, big map, big
Big
map
map.
it.
On Big map Red Comet.
Wait,
yeah, so like
yeah.
right above, like right or above or below those big craters you see on the left or the right side of the map is like a 2 mech spawn you can place that, and I think that
Oh.
just lends itself towards more like Armada play, like the ticks arrive, the pawns arrive on the other side of the map a little bit faster, and of course that, as we all know, that's the strength of playing Armada in these kind of smaller 1v1 maps.
Wait, there?
No,
Where is
I
it?
think he said
Uh,
above the
yeah,
crater, right?
yeah, above the crater, so like not below it, on the right side, above it, right there. Yeah. There's a 2 mech spawn right there. So like traditionally you see players either start there or that 3 mech spot that would be like up and slightly to the right of what you circled. You see a lot of vehicle play from there as well. I think that's maybe a little bit more of the standard play. Interesting enough though, like after the recent balance change where they buffed the lab's build power and metal and energy cost, I want to say like that makes it easier to play more aggressively. So that's why you'd see more players opting for that 2 mech spot that we circled the first time.
All right.
Interesting. Yeah, so 10 picks across both. And then if we throw back, so yeah, so qualifiers. I'm actually excited that Devil's Post Piles has seen a ton of play because that's I want to say brand new map, but it's pretty freaking new, right? It's
Pretty new.
like a month old, couple months old. It's
That
new.
sounds
When
right.
was it
Yeah,
done?
that sounds
It's
right.
a new map. I would be interested to see like how many of those games played actually went to T2, which I'm a fan of 1v1s going to that stage of the game because
Yeah, it feels like almost everyone that we watched went to T2. I think I've seen
Yeah,
5 games on it, and like all of them went to T2. Some of them went to T3. We saw Auto versus X Factor on it went to
it
T3.
did. Yeah,
yeah, that
Um,
was a great game by the way. So
that
that
was
was an
fun.
awesome game.
yeah.
Yeah, when there was like 12 Zars fighting it out on bottom.
Or the
Yeah.
pounders, the like the tier
Absolutely. Yeah.
one. Just everywhere you look, there's just a raiding pounder group. Like what? Like, oh
I
man,
was,
too good.
Speaking
it was
of
amazing.
pounders, I'd say those kind of been like the breakout unit this season. I've just
Oh, for
been
sure.
seeing
Yeah.
like so much of it. And maybe as on a serious note, to answer your question from before, Volshok, I would say yeah, the pounder is why you see like such like core dominance
Oh,
in the matchup.
interesting.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Yeah. So one thing that was super interesting for me is, granted, the qualifier players, some of them just kind of, they enter the qualifier for fun and they play maps they're familiar with. So it's like Canis River I'm familiar with. But if we look at the difference between the picks of qualifiers and groups, so this is the qualifiers, and if we look at groups, Canis was only picked once across the 45 group games. So we had 100 games in qualifiers and or 46 games in groups, and it was only picked once, which I saw X Factor say he feels like the map is figured out. Do you think that's true, Barcast? Or like, why do you think people just don't want to play it?
Well, I mean, for one, we've had it in the pool so many times, so perhaps players are, if it's not just quite solved, then it's just they're burnt out playing on it, so to speak. So maybe that kind of lends itself to it. So they just want to spam medium tanks into each other. So um,
Which, I mean, what map here do you not spam medium tanks into each other, to be honest? Like, I mean, it's relatively common. I mean, in Devil's Post Files, actually, we've seen it a bit, but a lot of it does kind of go to like a quicker tier 2, with like how choke pointy it is. And Into the Battle Redux, actually, I don't think I saw a single game go late. I don't even know if I saw a tier 2 lab on that map.
Yeah, in the games I watched, I didn't see every replay, but no, I didn't see it either. Those games are all just bloodbaths, but that's such a small map
Yeah.
that you just slam into each other and see what happens.
Well, I mean, Red Comet was played a bit closer to the other maps in the group stages. It was not very popular in the qualifiers, I noticed, but it was played relatively the same amount. Arksome Cat's a very popular pick, I will notice.
Yeah, I want to say it's second. Actually, if you click through them, I added them up. I don't know why I didn't make a slide that's both the qualifiers and the groups together. But if you click on like Arts and Cats and through to the big map, it'll say I added up the counts.
Did you?
So
Oh, you did. 18. Wait, so
I
10?
think
Okay, hold on. I gotta go through real quick. Okay, so there's a lot of 18, 19, 18, 11, 18. Okay, there's a lot of these around 18. Red Comet and CCR. Canis is 20. Okay, so Red Comet and CCR, apparently the ugly stepchildren of the map pool. Uh,
yeah, I think what Barcast said definitely might make sense there, though, right? For just like they've been in so many turns. They're also kind of the same map. Barcast, why do we have Red Comet and Comet Catcher? Hmm?
oh,
Answer, riddle me this.
they're
well, like one is a smaller map and it's more closed off, whereas Comet Catcher is like a much larger map and much more open. So I mean, they're both solar maps. Maybe that's why you think they're pretty similar, and their names are kind of similar
Look,
as well.
Comet
But
is in the name. What more do you need?
What more do you need?
They are very
I feel like,
different play. They like
uh,
different like play styles attached
yeah.
to the map, right? But
yeah, they play much differently, I'd say.
yeah.
So,
Uh, Still, one of these days, Volshok, you just got to throw some money at Barcast and get Tundra Continents in there. Okay, I've heard tales of this
I
map.
I actually donated $50 to one prize pool to pick a map, and then he put it in, and then everyone complained so much that I was like, all right, fine, just put something else in instead.
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah,
Just
well, I mean, if you do it next season, I guarantee you it'll be because I actually like think it'll produce some pretty good games. So
yeah,
I mean,
I
I'd be happy to
That,
see
that
it.
might be in the future. We'll see.
I
Yeah.
know High Noon was a big surprise in this pool for me of like it was kind of a weirder map. I think a lot of people thought when it first got added, and then you start seeing games on it, and it's like, okay, the games on this are actually interesting. There's a lot of varied play style. We've seen different stuff almost every game. It's kind of a
Yeah,
cool
I
map.
mean, the thing that blew my mind, if you threw to the big picture of it, the variants I don't know if the like I was like looked through a bunch of them, but the thing that's crazy for me is we've seen people spawn like kind of in the back here to do the geo and then they do there. We've seen the spawn here, oddly enough, where they do that and then they take mid. And we've seen the spawn wait, no, is it there? Yeah, I think it's like there. And then we've also seen a spawn like a little bit closer over here somewhere, where like they just walk.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me that all three of those are somehow viable. The other thing, Barcast, if you want to educate us, for me it makes a lot of sense, and a lot of players just do a standard comm walk where, whatever. If they're here, they walk, they take mexes, and then their commander just kind of patrols here and does stuff.
Right.
But some of the comm walks, like Thurksy did
Xerxes.
one where he did this and was on an island and went in the water. I've seen a few people take like the water mexes. I've also seen a calm that went down here, which was like insane to me. And I think, I don't know, it was one of those things where I was like, they're a better player than me. So I think I know what they're doing. I just can't explain why they would do it. But what's the reasoning for not just keeping your commander either in middle or like the BP in the base?
I mean, I don't know. It seems bad to me. I mean, maybe I'd have to watch the games, but like, I mean, there's a good reason to like keep the commander in the main because it's like obviously protected and you have that build power on your lab for the whole game. And then of course like walking to the front also makes sense because you're like blocking off that choke point for run bys with your D gun, you know. So
Yeah.
I've been really surprised actually how short the games on this map have been.
Yeah.
So I'd be happy to see like a longer
Yeah.
macro game with like T2C, T2 Air, stuff like that. So I'd be looking forward to a game like that in the finals.
Yeah, one thing LDM and I were talking about or were asking about was there's so many V starts on here, but no one makes an amphibious con, even though they're more expensive. Because there's like I think there's 6 mexes or 7 mexes.
Yeah, and those island mexes are like 2.6 as well, so they're like high value mexes.
Yeah, it's so
Oh,
rare.
yeah.
Like we'll see it sometimes, but the majority of time, like that amphibious con just comes really late. And I'm assuming it's like, okay, there's cheaper mexes to get. You can get with a cheaper con barcast. Like, is that? Would you think that's the reason everybody's waiting so long, or just not doing it at all?
Maybe they don't know, to be honest, like that they are like high value mexes, but I would imagine like now that we're in like the finals or round of 8, I'd expect to see more players kind of contesting those islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't seen the games on it, the mid maxes that I have circled here, I don't know if I have it circled exactly
It's pretty
correct, are
close.
higher too. So I think that's one of the onus to like get your commander there early is to take those. Man, did you watch? I don't even remember what the game was now, but LDM and I watched some hilarious abuse in this shallow water right
Oh,
here. Did you get to
Sash.
see that game?
Sash versus Vetter.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Oh
dude.
my god.
So there were a bunch of LLTs like right here, and Sash would run a rascal in, and the LLT would start shooting, but the rascal's so short that it wouldn't get hit. But the LLTs would still burn 40 energy a second trying to shoot it. And so Sash was literally just like running rascals into the shallows and then having the LLTs just continuously attack them just to damage Vetter's energy economy. And LD, I don't know about
There
LDM,
was
but
like
for me, my mind was blown.
It was funny.
Whoa.
There was like one moment where there's like something like 60% of Vetter's energy was going into these LLTs shooting, which is kind of just insane, right? Like, his energy bar was just gone. It was totally depleted because Sash had like 3 or 4 rascals just sitting in the water, just eating LLT shots, and it's just brutal, absolutely brutal.
Yeah, you can do the same thing like on those shores that are leading out into the islands and whatnot. You can put rascals into that shallow water as well, and
Oh
you can't
man,
shoot them. So
that's brutal.
Yeah,
yeah,
that is hilarious. Okay, yeah. So maps, I think overall the map pool has been pretty well received, right? Comet Catcher and Red Comet maybe not played as much, but we've seen really good games on almost everything else. I think for me, the most enjoyable games I've seen have been on Eye of Horus and Devils. Well, maybe High Noon as well. Actually, High Noon had some bangers. But what were your favorite maps to play, Barcast, and favorite maps to watch, LDM?
I'd say to play probably like CCR has been really fun. Honestly, the games are kind of a slugfest, so those have been pretty enjoyable. And then Arcs and Cats as well. It's a great map. It's a high wind speed. You got the geos, AGOs, and whatnot. So, yeah.
I think for me, Arksome Cats, I'm kind of with Barcast. It's always just an enjoyable. Like if it goes past like the early game, it's always just a very fun map to watch. A lot of variety. There's high wind. There's a lot of metal. You got geos. You've got all this fun stuff, and there's just so much room for activities. If you just don't die in the first 5 minutes, which I don't think we're going to be seeing very often in these little more competitive round of 8, but. Devil's Post Piles, also, I will say. Shout out to Aiden again, and this one is a little better shout out than the earlier one, Aiden. I apologize. But this one's Devil's Post Piles is quite good. Pretty fun games. Pretty interesting games, actually. I really like the addition of like the mexes on the pillars, or the players not contesting those or not contesting those is actually a very big impact on the games we ended up watching. And I'm looking forward to see how this map develops a bit more as it gets played a bit more, and see if anybody's cooked anything good for it. What about you, Volshok? What are you
Yeah,
thinking?
I agree. I think that it's an absolutely awesome map. For me, I like High Noon. I like Devils. I like
They used to do
I
like
have
horse.
Horus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen some good games on it.
Yeah. Pools has also seen some. I don't know if they're good. Like we've seen some really entertaining pounder games. I will say that
Yeah,
was it the X Fac versus Auto where there were literally rating pounders, and it was just the funniest
that was a
thing. We're
funny
like, how
game.
did they
Yeah.
get to his base? But no, they're good. And speaking of pounders and speaking of units in general, we also have some interesting stats just kind of pulled from qualifiers and from group stages. Let's let's call it a dog a dog. All right, so it's not like these are 100% representative of everything, but there are kind of some cool and interesting things to I think pull from them. So the big thing for me, at least on this one, is just the factory breakdown, right? Because if we look, core is just reigning supreme here, but more than that, the vehicle lab at 73 is absolutely crushing it. Same with their T2. And if you look at the other T2s, there's the Armada, Bot Lab, V Lab, and the Core
Oh
Bot
man.
Lab.
Yeah, those are rough
There's
stats.
just nothing. Yeah. Barcast, do you think that's just the strength of like you're already Core V, so you just keep going Core V? What is it? I guess post Bull nerf, you kind of don't want to go the V plan as much, but why is Core V just so unbelievably dominant?
I think it's excuse me, it has a lot to do with the maps. Like they're kind of looking at this now. I'd say a lot of the maps lends itself to opening vehicles, and naturally that just means you'd follow up opening like or teching into T2 vehicles, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like the only maps I would expect maybe players might opt for like a Cortex T2 bot lab would be like Pools of Ilis, something like that. Or I mean that's the only one I can think of offhand, right? So
Yeah.
It makes sense. Not a lot of hilly maps, Actually, it is just a kind of a lot of very flat, very like okay, you're just gonna go and make incisor maps, blitzes are watching from the sideline as they don't get to get played with at all. But eventually, they'll show up. 25 games, 25 armed vehicle labs played in the entirety of qualifiers versus 73 Cortex. I think is very telling. Uh, I kind of just crazy. You can
Yeah.
just go look. I think we have the stats for.
Yes, that's qualifier stats. So these are
Oh,
all the units. Actually, I cut off a few at the bottom. There's a few more, but they were only built once. But yeah, there's some. So if you just look right up at the top here, you can just see 64 core spawns, 36 arm spawns. So core was much more represented. But the big thing in qualifiers, right? You've got grunts, and then you've got incisor, brute, rascal, and figs.
four
And
blitzes.
the only core unit or the only arm unit here is just pawns, which is like, yeah, you're just not seeing very much pawn at all.
Yeah, is there any hope for the blitzes, Barcast? Do you think in any of these maps, or is it really just going to be incisor dominated? Like, what do you think?
um I think it might also just be like a preference thing because with blitzes do have some utility because you can kind of pick and choose your engagements, but it does kind of seem like you're on a clock between the player teching into medium tanks, which shuts down blitzes in a sense. But um, yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for someone to show me how it's done at this point because it definitely seems like incisors just kind of like pound for pound handle much better than the blitz.
Yeah, I don't know if we've seen anybody get any massive success with these blitzes yet. Like, I remember there was a game in the qualifiers. I think it was Teddy versus somebody, and I remember him opening blitzes and just getting absolutely run over by incisors. Like he could barely keep up. Like he ended up winning the game, but it was brutal. It just looked impossible to fight into it. And of course,
Yeah,
Volshok, highlighting pounders there. I think that's also like a big reason why, Cortex looking so strong.
yeah. The choke points on it. To circle back to your blitz point, though, we've seen a number of games where I felt like the person making blitz just by making them through the game. There was the It was on Pools of Eyeless. I want to say it was Vetter versus I forgot who it was, but he swapped out of Rover into Blitz relatively
Oh,
early, and he
Akumar,
just like
right? Akumar versus
Akumar,
Raxel. Yeah.
yeah, and he just got ripped apart by scouts, and you're like, man, if those were incisors, it would not have been as big of an issue, or if you had just stayed Rover. But the fact that he went Blitz, it felt like it felt like one of the main reasons he lost the game because it just spiraled out of control for him.
Yeah.
It is kind of hilarious how good scouts are against blitzes, even, which has been another kind of breakout, I think, meta shift. I'd say like players playing much more scout heavy. Maybe that's because it's like bigger macro maps we're playing on,
Mm.
so it's like you just kind of use the speed, abuse the speed, so to speak. But it's been another unit I've seen just tons and tons of, and players have been making more of them for longer periods of time.
Yeah, I think definitely like what there was like a minor vehicle scout buff, and then you look at, of course, like Tick's got a nerf, and it's just kind of looking even rougher for any Tick enjoyers, and of course Volshok highlighting one of the sadder stats. I think Janice getting no love in the qualifiers almost at all. Uh,
There are more Shivas made than Janice, which I just find hilarious.
man, that's poor
I
poor
mean,
poor Jan. It kind of makes sense, right? You know.
it does, yeah.
Shivas are just too good, despite what science tells us. They're just kind of too strong. They're just solid like core units, and I don't mean core as in core, but core as in core. Okay, that makes sense. Trust me. But Janice, like, they're good situationally, but a lot of times they're not always the right unit to make. Where arms already not getting played much, so it kind of just it goes hand in hand. I feel like. Uh,
Yeah. So these are just the qualifier stats though. So
oh,
if we hop
too
to,
fast.
yep, you're there.
Yeah,
There we go.
we
Group
jumped too quick.
stages. Yeah, so interesting. We see kind of a little bit of a better split between ARM and core, but the truth is that for all the T1 labs, if you just look at it, I mean, this is all just it's all the Cortex and then it's ARM. Um, and so yeah, I mean, here it's sort of the same thing, right? You can
Wait, I don't even
did anyone even
see a tier 2 bot lab for either faction. Was it not made a single time in the group stages? Nobody made a single tier 2 bot lab? Wow.
uh let me double check that, but I
That's
don't think
crazy.
so.
I mean, again, like Barkas said, it's not surprise. It shouldn't be surprising, but it's still like it's just very surprising to see. I don't know. Uh,
I mean,
I
Alt F4 didn't play, so
oh, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, where's Zuby?
And I messed up. I cut this off. So one single ARM bot lab was made on high noon.
Okay, we got one then. You know what? Everything's fine. We got one.
No, no Core 2 bot labs were made, though. Core T2 bot labs were made. Yeah, so vehicle dominance, definitely interesting.
It'd be interesting to think of
Uh,
like maybe in like a future BPL, finding maps that also not only are enjoyable to play, but also like, is there maps that just could be better for bots? Like, can we actually incentivize going tier 2 bots? Like, it would be cool to see. Well, I've seen just no tier 2 bot representation. I guess the labs are struggling. I think in multiple modes, not just 1v1, but uh,
yeah.
one day
do like
maybe.
Triad or something like that.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
Carrot
something
Mountain.
weird.
Carrot Mountains, yeah, or
Carrot.
Tumult. What's the one that has? I forgot the one that has the Carrot Mountains corner to corner.
Holy.
Audience just gets a quick 5-minute nap before the action
Yeah,
starts.
really. An actual like hour and a half long game, guaranteed every set. Oh man.
Oh my god. And then if we throw to the units, it's still similar, but maybe even a little bit more pronounced. I
A
mean,
little
just
worse. Oh my god.
so we
Oh.
see 33 core spawns to 11 arm spawns. And then there's some red right here. I don't know. Can anyone tell me what that means?
Yeah, vehicle scouts are made more than pawns, okay? Like does that not tell a story? I think that tells a story. Uh not even counting anything below that. You just look and all it's just Just a little bit of red every now and again, or a little bit of red. Sorry, no, a little bit of blue every now and again in a sea of red. Uh, but realistically, it's not really all that surprising. Like if you're going vehicle, it's vehicle-centric maps. You're not really gonna go arm. It's just how it's gonna be. Uh,
Yeah,
it,
I mean, there were almost as many pounders made as stouts, which is like mind blowing to me.
I have a feeling X Factor pumped those numbers. Okay, like Solo pumped those numbers after the games we saw. Uh,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I
You
mean,
are not wrong.
memes aside, they are like Pounders pretty good, man. I like they're just very solid in 1v1. I know like team gamers are not a big fan of the Pounder, but uh, in 1v1, always been pretty solid. Uh, and yeah, look,
Yeah, I mean,
where's the Janus? Okay, I gotta go look. It's Wade.
there were more Shivas made than Bulls. There really hasn't been very much T3. We got 11 Razorbacks and we got 16 Maras. We have 17 Kargs. What game were the Kargs in? Does anyone know?
I don't
I
know.
made a card versus Andy,
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
and then lost. So
Yeah, where's the win rates attached to these units? Volshok, that's the important stuff, all right?
All right. I'll get Varunda on it. Also, shout out to our girl Varunda who does all the Gex stats. So if you look at the bottom, at this little purple logo down here, anytime you see that logo, that means that I stole the stats from her. So even though people call me the stat man, that is 100% not correct because Kermode, Bear, and Verunda are the people who
Yeah.
actually do all the stat work. All I do is like screenshot it and put some visuals accompanied with it. So yeah, it'd be like the equivalent of a baker who makes a nice piece of bread and then I just wrap it in some cloth and I'm like, I'm a baker. I'm not an actual stat man. I just
Look,
make them look pretty.
it's
So
a
shout out
nice
to those
cloth.
two people.
All right, you've been doing a good job. But yes, Varunda, every time I see something new on Gex, it actually blows my mind. Every single time. It's actually ridiculous. Uh, but yeah, so is there anything else we want to look at here, Volshok, or is this the it for the qualifier and group stage stats?
I think we're good. We had some good yapping time. Maybe just throw back to the homepage so people
Yep.
can take a look. There was a slight change. I don't know if I wrote it down. So originally we had quarterfinals and semifinals on November 1st, but we are actually going to move and we are going to do just the quarterfinals on September or November 1st, and then we are going to do the semifinals and the finals
That
on
makes
November
sense.
2nd.
Yeah, I feel like that just makes sense. Like it just should be a little smoother, rather than in like what would that even be? An insane amount of best of fives in one day, and then we just have the finals on Sunday. Makes more sense, I think, just to do like two best of fives than a best of seven. Uh,
Yeah, so the max number of games, it ends up being a total of 20 games can happen on Saturday and 17 games can happen on Sunday. But it'll
Sounds
be
good.
nice because then once you play your quarterfinal, you can just sign off and you're done until the next day. But I think that's it from us. Unless Barcast, do you have any comments? Any last little things to throw in there?
no, just thanks for everyone who's been helping out, casting, playing,
Oh yeah,
bringing into the prize pool. So
hop to the thanks page, LDM.
Wait,
I don't know why it's
where's their
over
thanks
circle.
page?
It's at the bottom that says thanks
What?
on the right.
Uh, are you looking at my screen? Am I blind, or do you see thanks?
Wait, what? Why do you not see things?
That's
Hold
what
on.
that look. Hey, look, we can all see it live right here. Volshok is gaslighting me. I'm abused. Okay, there is no thanks button here. This man is lying. Uh, but yeah, no, on what Barcast is. Oh my god, we can see it moving in real time. That's unsettling. You.
There's always been a thanks button there. All
Yeah,
right,
there's always
LDM,
been a
correct
thanks.
your eyes.
Look, I'm clicking the thanks button and it's doing nothing. So you still, still
Oh
gaslighting me.
no.
Yeah, that's right. I know a lot of people have been actually coming together and actually making, casting some of these games and post them on Barcast channel, which I know Barcast putting the donations or his ad revenue right towards the prize pool of the tournament, which is super cool. Uh, And it's been fun. It's been fun watching some of these games. You know, eventually I'll be able to click this button. All right, you get to see these names, and we should all just sit here and just judge Volshok. Okay, not me. Okay,
Listen here, you little shit.
because once again, all right, I'm not. I'm being gaslit. Oh, it's moving. Uh,
And it's gone.
and it's gone. Look at that. Isn't that fun? But this will definitely be fixed, all right, for next weekend. You'll get to see all these buttons working in all their glory. Oh my God, I clicked this
All
one.
right.
There we go. We got there. Luke.
Jesus.
By the way, the button was there the whole time. We all saw it. Okay, I don't know what Volshok's complaining about. But as you
Oh
can
my
see,
God. Get me out of
there's
here.
quite a few people involved in this. Quite a few players and quite a few just good guys wanting to put some time into bar and making it better, making the tournament seem better. But yeah,
Yeah.
Barcast Volshok, you got anything else? Or are we calling it there?
I think we're calling it there, man. We're good to
All
go.
right. Well, we will see you guys hopefully next weekend. Show up, watch some games, and hopefully we have a fun finals.